Hey guys, EBPMAN here, and today we're going to share with you the first few things you should consider as soon as you get your Google Pixel 3 or 3 XL. Let's go ahead and check it out. So guys, if you've picked up the Google Pixel 3 or the 3 XL, you may be wondering what are the most important things that you should configure as soon as you get the phones in your hand. So today I'm going to show you a few things that are really important that are going to maximize the use of the phone and that I use every day. Let's check it out. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the little bell icon to get notified when new videos become available. So the first thing that I like doing to phones is making sure I understand my battery life. And when you pick up your Google Pixel and you open it up and start it up for the very first time, you're going to notice that you do not see your percentage bar. So let me show you how you're going to be able to get that little percentage right next to that battery bar to show up on your phone. Alright, so you'll go into, you're going to swipe down first because we got to go into settings. I'm going to swipe down one more time, and you'll notice that you have this little cog here that you're going to tap. Once you choose this, you're going to go to battery. And then once you're in battery, what you're going to do is you're going to select this option right here. So it's right now off, and you'll notice that there's no percentage there. As soon as I turn it on, the percentage is going to come back. That's the very first thing I'd recommend you do. So the next thing I do is I turn on something that's called Nightlight on your phone. Let me show you how that's done. So you're going to go over here, you're going to swipe, bring this down again, and then you're going to go into display. And the display, you'll notice where it says Nightlight off. I'm going to click on it so that we can see what this looks like. I'm going to turn it on. And it may change on screen. I can see it on my side that it turned almost like an amberish color. I'm going to turn that off again. And you'll notice how it goes bright white. Well, this is a great setting, especially when you're looking at your phone at night. The harsh, bright colors are said to impact how you sleep, but also makes you squint. And I just really enjoy having this on. So what you can do is, some companies are calling it like the blue light filter. Google's calling it the night light. What you'll do is you'll go here and then you'll turn it on, and you can turn it on at a specific time, or you can say turn on sunrise to sunset. So I have mine set up so that it turns on from sunrise to sunset. Now, one of the things that you can also do is you can adjust the intensity. So you'll notice where I am right here. You can lower it to make it less pronounced or bring it up to be more pronounced. I kind of like it around there. I think that makes it really soft. And if my phone goes off at night, and most of us have our phones by our nightstand, so having it there, when you grab it, you're not going to have that harsh bright light hit you, especially if you turn on that schedule. Now, the next tip that we're going to go into still is into the display area, because really this is one of the most important parts of when we use our phone. So we're going to go back into display, and what I'm going to do is turn this off so we can go back to the normal mode. So when you look at your phone, this is what really is going to change your experience. And what I find that is really important is a couple things. I'm going to go into the advanced section, is making sure that you have the right font size. So sometimes you're looking at the phone and you may find that the phone's font size doesn't really suit your eyes. We all have different eyesight, some better than others. And what you can do here is adjust the size of the font, how it's going to look on your screen, and it's going to make really using your phone much more enjoyable. I really like the way that Google gives you sample text so you can see what the impact is. And you see some folks, especially as you get older, maybe using bifocals or using different type of glasses. So this is going to give you an area where you can go into and once again have a better experience when it comes to what you see on your screen. Now, the next area is we're going to show you is the dark theme. Now, you're going to notice that when you swipe this down, all of my the control panel area where I have all these little controls is black, right? And if I go over this side, you'll notice that this is black as well. So this is my Google feed. Well, there is something called the dark mode. So I'm going to go into the settings again. We're going to go into display, and then we're going to go into advanced. And as we scroll down, you'll notice this dark theme. So if you tap on it, you can have either light. And let me show you what this looks like. So we're going to choose light, and then you're going to bring this down and see how that's white. And then if I'm out of this and I bring up Google, it's going to be light too. I like changing it to dark. I find that the dark color is easier to read, and I find that also it's better on battery life. So not everything is dark. So that's how you enable dark mode. Now there is one other feature here that you can use, and that is based on your wallpaper. So if you choose a black wallpaper, it would basically get black as well. But I like being able to just have colorful wallpaper, but then just choosing the dark mode or this dark theme so that I can get all those areas to be dark. It's just, for me, it's easier to use. Now the other area, we're still in the display area. So again, if you've gotten out, I'll take you back through it again. You're going to click on, you're going to swipe down, you're going to go into this little cog here, and then you're going to go into display, and we'll go into advanced, is the actual display size. So we talked about font, but the other thing you can do is also work with the display. So here, if you notice, as I make this a little bit bigger, it really changes the way your display is showing content. So we've seen this, Samsung has this where you can just pinch in and out, but you can actually configure some of this. And you can see how this works. So look at, here is your icons, and you can see how much bigger you can make things. And if you have family who are visually impaired, this is a great tool to really see how magnifying the interface would work. So again, I have several family members who are either fully blind, partially blind, or are working towards that. And having this feature is a really nice feature for them to still enjoy using their phones by being able to modify the display size of your screen. Now the last display function that I just wanted to share with you that I also changed, and then we'll go into some other things, is the timeout. When you get your phone, it's going to time out like really fast. So you'll notice where here it's typically set at 15 seconds, which drives me crazy because you really don't have enough time to do anything. So make sure when you get your phone, you change it to something greater than that. I go for a minute. You can go all the way up to 30 minutes if that's something that you want. But again, this is how you can keep your phone on without it turning off automatically. So just change that sleep time to 1 minute or more, and you're set. So now the next thing I would really prompt you to learn is the phone camera, because one of the things that the Google Pixel 3 and 3 XL are absolutely amazing at is taking pictures. So I would learn how to use the camera. So let me show you a couple of features that I use, and it's really simple. Let's check it out. All right, so let's take a look at the camera app for a second. So the camera app, you have multiple settings, and the portrait mode is what most people like using, and this is both for selfie mode and also for taking the back-facing camera mode. This is going to give you that blurry, dreamy background when you're taking a photo, and one of the nice things about the Pixel is that the artificial intelligence that it has is by far the best camera on the market. I'm going to show you some pictures that I took on the phone, and you'll see it looks like it was done by a professional photographer, and it just has by far the best picture quality. Now, when you choose this, the one thing to keep in mind is that the neat thing about Google is Google can also do that blurry effect for pictures that are taken on inanimate objects like a cup, food. You could do that with people, and the iPhone has some problems when it comes to things that are not people. So this is really going to give you a real nice effect. You do have the panorama shot here, which is going to give you the ability to take a wide photo by just sliding across. The standard camera mode is here as well, and you notice that this says that motion is enabled. You want this enabled because the camera, when you take pictures with it, if you ever taken a picture of someone and they blinked and you just wish that you got them before the blink, that function is going to help you do that. So it has like a sure shot capability. And I'll tell you, I was at a wedding, and I was taking a picture of a group of folks, and what ended up happening is a child ran in between us as we were taking the photo, and literally the child wasn't there. So all we had were the people there. And what I found is I find so many people that when they're using the camera, they actually press 3 and 4 times so that they can get the right picture. I found myself pressing the button once because every single time I shot it, I got the right picture. Video mode is pretty straightforward. So you have your video settings here, and then you have more. And I wanted to show you the more area because here you do have a couple things. You can do slow motion. You also have a photo booth function, which is pretty fun. You then also have the lens, which is kind of AI where it identifies what's going on. And then you have playground. And if we go into settings, here you'll be able to see your save location, camera sounds, which I kind of disable. I don't want to hear the click. You have the Google Lens suggestions. you have this. I recommend that you turn on your grid. The grid just helps you think about photos differently, and I'm going to show you that in a couple seconds. Your camera resolution, right? So you have your two resolutions. You can go with the 4:3 or a 16:9, but you'll notice that it changes. Front-facing camera, and then you have your back camera resolution for video, and so all these things you can enable or disable. Now, there's another really neat thing about the camera, and the camera has, when it comes to the selfie mode, and let me go ahead and bring this in camera mode so we can see how the selfie mode is going to work. So here I have this in for the selfie mode, and you have this button right here. Let's make sure you guys can see that. So what I'm going to do is as I'm moving this up, notice I'm getting closer, but then as I go back, I'm actually opening it up. So you actually have the ability to have a wide selfie or close-up selfie just by pressing that and moving that up and down. So really, really powerful, and it changes the way you take pictures. So those are a couple of the areas. Really, this is a point-and-shoot camera. All you do is you tap where you want to focus. So if I have right here, tap where I want to focus, and I'm going to actually use the portrait camera so you can see how this works. I'm going to tap, take the picture, and when we look at the picture, you'll see almost like once Google's AI kind of swipes it, it goes from a great photo to an absolutely amazing photo. Look at the quality of that picture. I'm going to zoom in for a second. Let's see if we can get that zoom. Look how nice that looks. The lighting looks really good. You have that dreamy effect in the background. Very, very nice picture. Let me share some of the pictures I've taken. All right, so let's take a look at just the overall quality of the photos and why you should look into it. So take a look at this picture. This is all the photos that I've taken with the Google Pixel have been with the flash off. So there's no flash here. This is actually at a banquet hall. The music had started, the lights were dim, and notice how crisp and clean this photo looks. Notice how the blurry, dreamy background shows up here. Let me show you one other photo. All right, so here's the last photo I'll show you and why you should really take a really close look at the camera. So again, look at the effects here. Here's Null again. This is in our house right before we went to the wedding, and just notice how clean the sides are right here for that blur effect, and how this looks like a stock professionally taken photo. No flash in the house, and in my opinion, a great photo. Let me know what you think in the comment area below. All right, so the next tip has to do with gestures. So gestures have changed quite a bit with the phone, and just wanted to show you some of the things that you can do. So if you swipe up like this, you're going to be able to not only see the most recently used apps here on the bottom, so just want to point that out. So by swiping up, you see the most recently used apps that you used and some of the ones that are standard, but what you can also do is move from photo to photo, or in this case from app to app. So these are all the windows that I've had open. So this is going to give me a really quick way to get into, let's say for example I was here, right? So I can also swipe at the very bottom here, and you'll notice how I'm swiping between the applications that are open. So this is a really quick way to move around. If I swipe up, what I could also do is, if I bring it up, I can swipe this card away and eliminate it, or if I tap on the card, you're going to see some additional functionality. Now watch when I go over here. I'm going to tap on this function, and you notice you also have the split window effect is there. So by splitting, I can have a portion of my screen on the bottom be one app and the portion of the screen another. So for example, if you're using navigation and you're using Spotify, you can have Spotify on the bottom and your nav at the top. So this is the multi-window effect that you can create. And again, you can just swipe away if you'd like by just doing that. So again, gestures up to bring the recent list, also all your apps if you'd like. You can actually swipe to go from app to app that is open really quickly, and it just makes navigating on your Pixel super easy. All right, so the next tip I'm going to share with you of things that I do is I configure this area here, because there's features here that you may want to have in a specific order, like the flashlight. So what you do is you notice how there's a little pen here. So if you tap on the pen button, that's the edit button. You can rearrange things. So for example, I have first Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and the flashlight. I have do not disturb there, but you notice I have hotspot. So what I want to do is I'm going to move the hotspot right here, and then what I have is my VPN. and I'm going to put my VPN right here. So now all of a sudden, this is kind of like the order of things that I want. Now, if you swipe up, there are a lot of other things here. So you notice that I have location, I have invert colors, data saver cast, and then I have some other features here. So all I have to do is if I want these in the mixed, I just press and hold. And let's do that, press and hold, and then you drag it into the area. I'm going to push it down there because I really don't use those. But reorganize this. Another feature that I do use a lot because I travel is the airline mode. So airplane mode, so this is what I want. I'll hit the back button, and now when I swipe down, you notice these are the things that I use the most all the way in the top. That's how you can configure things to really align with your needs. All right, so we'll take a look at this area right here now. We're going to go into the wellness area, and the wellness area, digital well-being, is going to give you a couple features. And we're going to talk about this as we do it when we do a deep dive. But the area here that I wanted to bring up is the do not disturb and the flip to shh. So first of all, what you have here is the ability to say, by doing the do not disturb, no one or anyone who tries to call you, text messages, Facebook posts, tweets, all those things are just going to be muted completely. And you have the ability to say, what things you want to leave on and what things you want to leave off, even if it is enabled, that do not disturb. You can get calls from your starred contacts only, so you can have your wife, your children, like in my case that I have. So if I am in a different time zone and my phone is in do not disturb, I still want to get disturbed if they do call me because it could be an emergency. You can determine if events and reminders will basically interrupt you, and then you can turn it on or off. You can determine what your duration is. You can say for an hour, ask every time, again that. And then you have also some rules that you can set up. Now, in addition to having this configuration here, you can actually do a flip to do not disturb. And that means that if you enable this, as soon as you flip your phone down, as you see here, it's going to enable do not disturb. So imagine if you're in a study room in a library and you just want to get an hour of time and not really be interrupted by any kind of Facebook post, tweet, email, call. By enabling this and flipping your phone over, it's going to basically go into do not disturb mode. So now still in the system area, what we're going to do is look at the gestures now. So as you go into the system area still, and then you go into gestures, what you can do here is you can work with the active edge, and the active edge is where you can squeeze the side. So we've talked about the squeeze, and it tells you if it's working or not. So in my case, I have configured the squeeze on the side to launch Google, and you notice the squeeze for your assistant, allow to squeeze when the phone is off, and squeeze in silence. And what you can do here is you can configure how that function is working, or the sensitivity. Now, in addition to this gesture, you do have swipe finger for notifications, and this is something that I would recommend to turn on, because what will happen is when you do this now, when I swipe down, you'll notice how that comes up. Let me turn it off. Nothing's happening, and all I'm doing is I'm taking my finger and I'm doing like this on the back. It's like I'm tickling the fingerprint sensor, and it just opens things up. So that's one thing that you could do as well. And then flip camera, so jump to camera on. So that means as soon as you press the power button twice, the camera's going to turn on, and I really enjoy that feature as well. We'll go back. We could, if you want to do like a switch from front facing to selfie, all you got to do is just jiggle it like this, and you can see how you can switch modes. And that's also a cool feature that I leave enabled. So those are a couple of the ones that I would enable. And then there is the prevent vibrate, right? The prevent ringing. By pressing those two buttons at the same time, volume and power up. See, press actually power up and the volume button together. It's going to put your phone into vibrate mode, which is really great depending on the type of business that you're in and if you want to keep things quiet. Now, another cool feature that you should become aware with is some of the functions that you have here on the side. So if I press this button really quick, and again, so here you have your three buttons, right? All I'm doing is pressing this one right here. You'll get your volume rocker, but what you can do is you can put your phone on vibrate. You can turn off your notifications completely. And all you're doing is I'm just pressing the button, and then it brings up this shortcut menu that I can just slide. So increase the volume. I can also go into settings if that's what I wanted to, and then look at each one of these areas that I can configure. Again, just a quick shortcut without having to go to the swipe. Just by tapping your button right here once, you can bring up this little shortcut menu where you can adjust, again, your media volume as well as all these other controls. All right, so the last thing I want to show you is how you do screenshots. So simply all you're going to do is press the power button and your volume down. Right, so let's go ahead and press and hold. So now you have your screenshot. Now once you've done your screenshot, you can bring it up to this area and you have some options. So once I did the swipe down, you can share, you can edit or delete it. So that's a really nice workflow effect. So if I choose to edit it, what I can do is actually write on the screen, which is pretty common. So some of us want to say, hey, check out this house. You're pointing at it and you just say here. And then what you can do is once you're done there, you could go ahead and save it or share it via text message. So guys, there you have it. That is the first few things that you should consider as soon as you get your Google Pixel 3 or 3 XL. We're going to have a tips and tricks video that is going to cover much more coming up very soon. So in the meantime, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.